Hey gang, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Drop it.
Happy mild winter to all of you out there in the intranet world. Jason Schultz here, host of Be Loyal to Your Soil podcast, brought to you by Holganix Midwest. We got with us tonight Nathan Wells, a farmer, a grower from Centerville, Iowa, and Terry Hoenig. We're going to pronounce his name right tonight. That'll be the first part of the podcast because it's H-O-E, like a hoe. So you don't know if it's a Hoenig, a Hoenig, or what, but it's Hoenig. Terry Hoenig is with us, one of the owners and sales manager with Holganix Midwest. So welcome, guys. How are we doing tonight?
Doing great.
With
Kicking off
Terry,
the year
Terry, with an introduction like that, I mean, how could your life be any better at this particular moment?
I'm still trying to get his last name right. So
Hoenig. No, as a tractor pull, well, but Terry, as a tractor pull announcer, there's always one or two names every night that you butcher. And like I announce in different states all over the country, and in one part of the country it's pronounced like this, and another state part of the country it's announced like this, but it's all good. But if we do anything tonight, Terry, everybody watching the podcast will know how to say your name. I bet you got a whole bunch of employees saying and customers saying, wow, I've never said that guy's name right. So it's all good.
Probably.
It's all good. What we like to do with every podcast, I like to know where you're watching from tonight. So if you could just type into the comments where you're watching from, and then with this mild winter you're having, let us know where you're watching from and what the current temperature is. I'll kind of read those off during the show. That's a lot of fun like that. So I'm in Richland Center, Wisconsin. I think we got almost to 40 degrees today. I'm in Southwest Wisconsin, like an hour west of Madison. Everybody's heard of the Wisconsin Dells. That's kind of that neck of the woods I live in, or just north of Dubuque, Iowa. So Nathan, tell us where you're from. Tell us about your family. Tell us about your farming operation, and we'll introduce Terry Hoenig, and then we'll go from there.
So I'm me and my wife Jessica. We farm here in Centerville, Iowa. So mostly Appanoose County, and then get into Wayne County, Iowa, a little bit as well. Have three children. Had a child actually just born right before harvest, so that made harvest kind of interesting for us because.
Or is that good planning, Nathan? Did you guys think about this ahead of time? Did you do the whole 9-month thing? So.
I don't know if we really thought about the timing, but it worked out. We made it work. So,
because my dad has cows, and he always tries to time that out. I'm not saying you and your wife making love is like cows making love. You guys know the time frame, right, Nathan?
Yeah. But we understand that. So
I just want to throw that out there a little bit.
But yeah, she's the primary combine operator, so that's what made it tricky. So we had our third child, our second son, born on September 15th, and 3 weeks later she was in the combine with child in tow, and really harvest went great. So we got through it and was done a week ahead of Thanksgiving. So I thought it worked out great. So
I think this is a big round of applause for Nathan's wife, Terry. Put your hands
it absolutely is. Yeah. I saw those pictures on Facebook, and I told my wife, look at Jessica, and she's like, nope, not happening for me.
Not happening.
We're still trying to figure out how to get a bassinet to have like a diesel engine hum and just that slight vibration so that he sleeps better. But he's been doing good.
So what you do is you just go to the Beer Money Pulling Team YouTube channel, Nathan, and turn that on at night, and just put it on like super stock diesels or pro stocks. Get a little womp, a little vibration, big cube, and come up with some multi turbos. This is my tractor pulling. You're gonna learn I know nothing about farming. Okay, so I love it.
Some say he knows nothing about tractor pulling, but
Jessica says he loves diesel engines. All right. So Jessica, please, I have future puller t-shirts.
There you go.
Down to 6-month size frame. So Nathan, seriously, get me your address.
Okay.
What happened to my backdrop, guys? This is what happens when I'm by myself tonight without my producer. So I had my beautiful Holganix stuff set up behind me. I'm such a schmuck. Terry, don't fire me, okay?
No worries. No worries at all.
Promise I get better at this. So cool. So Nathan, awesome. Thanks for coming on tonight. Terry Hoenig, the sales manager, one of the owners of Holganix Midwest. Again, we just making fun of the last name a little bit because I didn't know how to, off air, Nathan and I both said it wrong. So our goal tonight is everybody pronounce Terry Hoenig. So Terry, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, your role with Holganix Midwest. And it's fun to have one of the owners on. You guys are all great guys. It's been fun getting to know you guys throughout the summer. Tell us kind of how it all started for you.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Well, I was born and raised on a dairy farm, so I had a little bit of farming background. Left there in the 80s when farming got a little thin, as a lot of people know from the 80s. But Dad had a little feed store on the farm, so he moved off there and ran his feed store, and we left the farm there. But always kind of loved farming in the background. So I was in the motorsports business for about 15 years. Then I was in the auction business for about 10 years, and that's really where I met Nathan. I was in the auction business and doing some auction, selling land equipment and stuff. Did some stuff with Nathan there and met him and his family. He really enjoyed getting to know them. When I came on board with Holganix, I kind of was involved in Holganix while I was in the auction business a little bit. As an auctioneer, I knew a lot of people, knew a lot of farmers. I sold farms and equipment to people and for people, started introducing the product to some of those folks. And that's how I kind of got with Nathan. The product kind of resonated with me a little bit because I've done a little bit of soil health stuff in the racing industry, oddly enough. Didn't really know what I was doing. I just was doing what I was told and knew that it made a difference. I knew Nathan had a little bit of a agronomy background and from meeting him before. So I kind of took the product to him, kind of showed him what we were all about, what we were doing, see if he was interested in it. He kind of got interested in it, got intrigued by it as well. And so he's been a great customer, great grower. He's also introduced us to several people in the community, helped us out with a couple of GoGrow meetings. So he's just been really, really good partner with us and a good grower. Like I said, he's got great results over there in South Central Iowa. So that's how I kind of got with Nathan. But I've been with Holganix Midwest for a couple of years now. I do lead the sales team. We hired some more sales guys throughout the state of Iowa. So we're really excited about that. And so that's my role. I got wife and 2 girls. My wife does marketing and stuff for Holganix Midwest and social media and sales support work. She's partnered with me there as well. And then my 2 daughters, I got a daughter that got married, and I'm going to be a grandpa in January here, hopefully. So, and then my other daughter is going to graduate Iowa State this spring. So I got a couple big events going on in my life. And so that's my world.
Love it. Love it. Again, welcome everybody to episode 4, Be Loyal to Your Soil podcast put on by Holganix Midwest. So we were talking with some team members from Holganix as well as some growers, farmers that use the Holganix product. And it's been fun learning about it. I readily admit I'm all in sales. If anybody needs a mortgage or they want to talk about truck and tractor pulling, I'm your guy. But when it actually comes to farming, the only thing I know is I don't like my dad's cows because they don't listen. They just kind of run off on their own. So I want him to get rid of those cows, but I like eating cows. Just full. That's the best part of a cow. So Nathan, tell us your journey with Holganix. I mean, I've learned through these first 4 episodes, there's a spring product and there's a fall product. But we've had some people on that have been on it like a couple years. We've had some people, this is their first year. First of all, Centerville, what are some big towns around Centerville that I would recognize?
Well, Centerville's the county seat, so you got to really start.
Yeah, but I grew up in Iowa. I grew up in Victor, Iowa. So give me a big, like I would say we were 45 miles west of Iowa City. That's what I would say.
Yeah. So Ottumwa, do you know where Ottumwa is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we would be west of Ottumwa. So
okay.
We're right on the very bottom row of counties in Iowa, right smack dab in the center. So
okay, so is that good dirt? Is that because I've learned there's good dirt and there's okay dirt? What the gentleman 2 weeks ago, he had a funny way of saying it. I forgot. I should have wrote it down. But is it good soil, Nathan? Is it that 280 every year, no matter what happens, soil, or is
it's good soil if we're spoon fed rain every couple weeks? Is kind of how I would describe it. I had somebody that I used to work with in one of my prior jobs referred to down here as the infertile crescent of Iowa. So, I mean,
I'm glad that hasn't affected you and Jessica. Nathan.
The soil can be a little challenging down here at, poor infiltration rates with water. So, the water doesn't perk through very fast, but at the same time, water holding capacity isn't that great either. So we can dry out very quickly as well.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it challenging. But yeah, this year yields were fantastic. It looked like we were, going to kill the crop 2 or 3 times this year, but we would get a rain and a good sizable rain, and it just kept us going along, and yields ended up being great.
Nice. I might have missed this earlier on, but are you on a family farm that like Dad had, or how did you get into farming, Nathan?
So I grew up on the farm, but went off to college. Then
where'd you go to school?
So high school, Seymour, which
Okay.
is another town very close, very small town close to here. But then went to Simpson College.
Yeah.
In Iowa. Yep.
Yeah.
Played football 4 years there. So
What position?
I was a lineman. So
Okay. Offensive though, right?
Offensive lineman.
I could tell. Yeah. Because you're smart. We always picked on a defensive lineman and said, you just have to go get the guy with the football. What movie is that? Go tackle the football. So
especially the center, you got to be smarter yet, right?
Yeah, you do. Got to point all those reads out and stuff like that.
But after college, ended up working for a trucking company for 2 years. We're sitting in cubicle world and decided that was not for me.
Okay.
And then ended up getting a job with an ag co-op and basically worked ag retail for 6 years. And then after that, I was able to get a job with a chemical company covering the entire southeast corner of the state of Iowa. So with BASF. And I did that for about 6 years. And then in 2020, my dad had actually passed away. And so that required a lot more of my time. And I tried to do both for a year, and it was just too much. So yeah, I'm been full-time farming since 21. So
your wife, Jessica, did she grow up on a farm, or is farming new to her?
She grew up on a farm as well. Her farming experience is more cattle focused, but
Okay.
But yeah, we're both grew up on the farm. So just trying to.
How'd you meet your beautiful wife? I need to know this. This is good stuff here.
She's gonna kill me if I tell this story. Probably.
No, it's nobody. Hey, nobody.
It was her homemade butter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Her and the kids made homemade butter yesterday.
Awesome.
No, she was actually working for a local ag retailer here in the area, but selling feed, cattle feed and stuff. So, but
Okay.
I happened to come in one day, and after that, she came after me. So she called me. And
Love it, Nathan. I love it. So, she is watching, and she's probably like in the other room in the house, right? If I'm assuming.
No, she actually had to take the kids somewhere, but yeah, she must have been watching on her phone or something.
Safely in the car with the
Yeah.
If there's a knock at my door here, I might have to mute
Or
her here.
Also, the power goes out or something like that, Nathan. we know that she's on to you. We know that she's on to you. No, that's cool. All right, so sorry to hear about your dad. My dad's my best friend in the whole world, and that would suck. So.
Yeah.
So Dad, if you're watching, I need you to lose some weight because you're fat. So up on that. And he's going to be driving my new tractor this summer, so I need him. We want to have more front end weight, Nathan, if you know what I'm saying. So
yeah. So with that,
go ahead, keep going.
You kind of asked about how I got involved with Holganix here a little bit.
Yeah.
So, with my background, I've seen a lot of products. I've pushed a lot of products and stuff too. I was big on fungicide and everything too with my prior life, and yeah. So when Terry came to me, I kind of initially my snake oil flag kind of went up initially, but he started bringing some more data and some photos of just things happening with crops in the area, and it really piqued my interest. I kind of saw that there was something there, and so yeah, I got more involved after that. And
is this a good segue to look at your photos now? You want to do that?
Yeah, we can look at some of those.
So I'm going to put them up on the screen. I just got some basic notes, and you can kind of talk about them, you and Terry, a little bit more. So the first one, it says Wells Early Beans. So
Yep. So this, I would have planted these soybeans, I believe around May 20th, but this was probably 7-8 days later. The beans, came out of the ground, but the beans on the right were what would have had a Holganix applied about 3 days after they were planted. So it was applied.
So the spring product then?
It was Bio 800, the spring product. So I sprayed it over the top with the pre-emerge herbicide application. So, but yeah, I'm all about going out in fields and digging up and looking at roots. That's kind of something I've always done anyway. But so yeah, when I started seeing this, I found it very interesting. And another farmer down the road that I had helped, who we had sold some of this product to as well, I went and showed him, and lo and behold, he had some soybeans in the back of his side by side showing the same thing. So that was just really neat to see there early in the season like that. So
Nathan, is this your first year on Holganix, or?
This was my first year of using it on our farm. Yep. So
okay. Wow.
last year when Terry, talked to me, was kind of after, we already had crop in the ground basically. So I wasn't able to get it on. So
sounds good. The next I have up says Wells Nodules.
Yep. So this would be from the same area that those first pictures were took, but just later in the season. This would be more like, I can't remember the date. They were probably on there, but like August. But yeah, just kind of looking, this would have been a treated plant, but I just couldn't get over the amount of nodules that were present on these roots when we dug them up out of the ground. And the thing about it too is these soybeans that I planted, they all had an added inoculant, which would typically help nodulation on soybeans too. But they all the soybeans had that. So this was above and beyond the addition of an inoculant.
So for your tractor pull in front here, what is a nodule?
Soybean nodule is what helps a soybean plant. Basically, a soybean plant has to produce most of its own nitrogen. So
okay.
So a nodule, those nodules are the mechanism that basically does that. So, and a soybean plant uses a lot of nitrogen, actually more nitrogen than what corn does, but wow. They get a lot of that by producing it themselves. So
good stuff. I feel a little smarter. The root on that thing's amazing. Almost looks like a damn tree. So
yeah, I was impressed.
I've been seeing pictures every week of the, with Holganix, the Bio 800 and without. And that seems to be, that's really one of the main things I'm seeing is the roots, and that it gets explained to me that that's good for everything, obviously.
Yeah, the taproot part's impressive, and then even just the lateral branching of the roots. Normally, when I pulled stuff out of the ground, you just don't see them that robust. I'd say soybean cyst nematode's a big yield robber for us, and that's kind of a silent killer of soybeans a little bit. And they attack roots, but it's not like you're going to see areas your field showing stress necessarily unless they're really bad from that. But I almost kind of wonder if that isn't what's going on there a little bit, is a little control on some soybean cyst nematode, which I believe Holganix has some activity on. So
now, did you do the strip testing like some of the other farmers have done, like next side by side, or did you just do a whole field and you knew, or how did you test?
I had basically a 70-acre field that I left a split in. Basically. Okay. So cool. Saw about 6 to 8 bushel, and that same farmer that I talked about that had the similar roots just down the road, that's what he saw too.
Okay.
So that's about what we were seeing on soybeans, was, I would say, in that 6 to 8 bushel this year anyway. So on first year application too. So
that's good to know as well, because I've been told from some people that had it on 2 or 3 years, it just gets better and better.
Yep.
Here is Wells bean roots. So
yep, that would have been from the same area. That was just taking 2 plants and we threw them on the board there so that you could really see that difference in roots. And then we got to looking at even some of the lower branches, and then you can see pods there too. But the plants were just quite a bit more robust and healthier. The main stem was bigger as well, as you can see there in those plants. So just everything on them was looking very good.
Absolutely. And then Dawn's checking in from Neenah, Wisconsin. And your wife commented still am. I don't know if like she's still chasing you, or I'm not 100% sure what she meant.
We'll go with that. That sounds good. So.
I feel like that's the right thing to say, don't you? All right. So I also have let's see here, Wells bean plant.
Yeah, that was just another shot we took from farther back, just to really just kind of show the bigger mass of the whole plant. You can just see that there's more branches, more leaves on those plants as well. So you got a bigger factory there for producing yield, producing beans. So, and thing about it, I kind of told you, I worked for BSF prior, so I was really big on fungicide application, and I took a chance this year going against my religion is what I told Terry. And I did not spray any fungicide this year. So just trying to see what Holganix would do on its own. So yeah, that's how I treat it.
The fact that you came onto the podcast willingly, not kicking and screaming, I would say that you repented and life is good. Would be my guess here.
Yep. Yeah. I had a really good bean crop. So
good deal. And then the last picture I got submitted, it says Wells corn. So
yeah, I had another farm that that I left some strips on corn as well. And yeah, when we were looking, pulling ears on the side by side as well, it looked like the corn was, definitely showing some improvement as well. Again, we went through a lot of stress this year, but yeah, those plants were definitely showing. The other thing we did too when we were out there is we did some soil tests. And now Terry, I can't remember what that soil test was called, where basically we were showing the difference in the bacteria and fungi.
Yep. Trent did the microbiometer test with you.
Yeah. Yep. So that was kind of eye-opening too. I mean, that's kind of what we thought would happen, but to see that verify on that test too was very impressive too. So
right. So what we were testing there was the overall microbial life in your soil, micrograms of carbon per gram of soil, and then the ratio of bacteria to fungi, which, we like to see that ratio 1-to-1 or 50-50 fungi bacteria. I don't know what you started out at, Nathan. I can't remember, but we moved the needle on both overall life and the fungi.
It was very low on the fungi. Yeah, I could probably try and search for that test here, but it was very low on the fungi, but it really balanced. It wasn't quite 50-50, but it might have been like a 60-40 or something.
Yep. So it was on the Starchovich farm.
Yep.
95% bacteria, 5% fungi. And we moved it with one application to 67% bacteria, 33% fungi. So yeah, definitely moved the needle there. So yeah, and that's fun. That's fun to go out in the field, pull roots. You're going to see good things when you wake the soil up, bring life to the soil, and that's what I really enjoy about it, is going out and seeing that stuff with the growers. So.
Love it. Again, we're just doing episode 4 of Be Loyal to Your Soil, brought to you by Holganix Midwest. We have Terry Hoenig, sales manager, one of the owners of Holganix Midwest. Nathan Wells, a farmer grower from Centerville, Iowa, been talking about what he's seen. This is his first year using it. And what's been fun about this podcast, guys, I think if anybody sees this, they're going to try it. It'd be crazy not to as a farmer. I mean, the one question Terry, I've been wanting to ask is, I know it's I think it's $15 for the spring product, 20 for the fall, or the other way around.
The other way around. Yep.
What can I eliminate something now that I have a Holganix product and save some of that money, or how does that work?
What we really encourage growers to do is to try to find that $20 in the spring in their application somewhere, in a nitrogen source, in a P&K source, to try to find that $20 of value so that they're break even the day they put it down.
Gotcha.
And most of our soils have forced growers to over fertilize their crops anyway. They're putting a lot of nutrients down, a lot of synthetic fertilizers, that a lot of it gets locked up the day they put it down. More keeps going in the bank. These microbes will help break some of that loose out of the bank. So we just encourage guys to look at their NP and K most of the time to try to find that $20. to try Holganix. Then as they move, they'll get more comfortable being able to get that fertilizer program realigned a little bit better with the healthier soils and that. So that's kind of how we approach it. But some guys
I've been
add it
hearing
to the
NP.
top.
I've been hearing NP and K a lot. What does that stand for from you guys?
Nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus,
Okay.
and Nathan can speak to a little bit more of that. Tell me how you looked at your NP and K program when you did it.
Well, on my dry fertilizer program, I really didn't change a whole lot this first year, other than I did on the corn. I did use a little bit less nitrogen this year. Using it the first year out, and I used I used Holganix on almost every acre. So, other than leaving a few checks here and there, I went down to about 165 pounds total of nitrogen on corn, where normally I probably land more around that 205, somewhere in there. So, I did back quite a bit down. And some of that, there was other things, economics of nitrogen this past year,
right,
kind of helped in that decision a little bit. It's like, well, let's try something here and see what happens. And, I never had my crop was never starved, showing any type of deficiency for nitrogen or anything. I don't know that any more would have paid me or not, because I didn't really, I should have left some more checks of nitrogen out there to but nitrogen is such a moving factor. I mean, and as dry as this year was, I can't imagine applying much more this year would have really helped me anyway, in this year. But like I said, I did scale nitrogen back, and I came out with a very good crop for our standards down here. So
no, that's really honestly what I've been wondering. And like, again, this is episode 4 for me. I've been hearing kind of the same story. And Terry, you said it's locked in. Like, what do you mean? It's just a bunch of fertilizer that hasn't, like, it's dried. It's just sitting there, like a bunch of mosquitoes waiting for a rain, or what?
Well,
is that what you mean by that?
I mean, when they apply fertilizers, especially P and K, other nutrients, they can get locked up in the soil. They can bond themselves to other types of molecules, and form with those molecules and not be able to get to the plant, so they're unavailable for the plant to consume as food. And these microbes will help release some of those nutrients, will break that bond, like potassium to a calcium molecule. It'll help release the two of those back apart and make that available to the plant. I am not an agronomist, so I'll tell you that up front. But
no, that's great. You are the sales manager. You're like me.
Making more of those nutrients more available, plus breaking loose some of what they call the organic nitrogen, organic P and K that are in your soil already, moving that to an available form to the plant. So,
Nathan, how did he do as a farmer? Did he do okay there?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So.
No, because that's
rate at least.
I mean, phosphorus, when you apply, if I go and apply 100 pounds of phosphorus for, say this fall for this next year's crop, I'm really probably next year's crop is only going to get 20% of that. Maybe the rest of that is going into basically soil solution, and then in a form that's unavailable for the plant to take up. So, the soil biology is what helps in moving some of that portion that's available or unavailable, moving that unavailable portion into a form that's available for the plant to take. So, so I believe that's kind of what Terry was trying to get at with.
That's what I tried to say. That's exactly right.
No, it's funny, Nathan, because we had Terry and Brian come on earlier. We did the Outlaw podcast. We were talking about turbos, but it was so funny with these guys, and they were like, "Don't do that to us." It's so funny. I love it.
I was at the Outlaw banquet. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
No, hell, we talk on top of each other all the time in this podcast.
I was at the Outlaw banquet when Nathan called me, and we were talking about soil the other day and the tilth of the soil. And Nathan's like, how do I tell this story? How do you take a picture of how these soils change and what it feels like? But he called me. I was at the Outlaw banquet. I remember, and he said,
Were you sober,
my
Terry?
grain,
Were you sober?
slightly,
Were you
I was
sober?
slightly, I was more sober
Slightly
than
sober.
you.
Yeah.
Which isn't
What time did he call you?
anyway, he said my grain
Matter what
cart
time.
operator got out of the grain cart because they thought they had like a low tire or a squishy tire because the ground was kind of soft and they felt the soil. So talk to us a little bit, Nathan, about what you're seeing on the actual feeling, the compaction of the soil. And maybe you can tell a little bit about that. That intrigued me.
Yeah, and that's so. Yeah, I was telling Terry, I was like, I'm seeing some very positive benefits, or some of the negative attributes of our soil. It seemed like they're changing, but I was like, I don't know how you show that to somebody without like, hey, dragging everybody out in your field and really showing them.
Field trip, Nathan. Field trip.
But I told him that my grain cart driver just, he just thought that we were, it was super dry this fall, but he's just like, man, this ground's so mellow. And it looks like it, just rained 2 inches with the imprint that the cart's leaving and everything. But, you go and kick the soil around and it just breaks apart in your finger and everything. And this, he didn't know anything about what I had put on, Holganix or anything. He's just out there digging around and, kind of noticing from that end. So like something's up. So yeah, I, definitely from the soil tilth perspective, something changed. And, our soils should be, normally when we're this dry, they should be darn near like concrete, like a pavement, out there really. And yeah, they were just crumbly. They had moisture in them still too. That's what was crazy. We should have been bone dry, but they still acted like they were just tilthy and had a little moisture to it, almost like perfect planting conditions. And here it was, in the fall, so in pretty much a drought. So
Right.
so yeah, that and that's something I would encourage if somebody does try this, like you need to get out to the best way to see if your soil is changing. You gotta have a baseline. You need to. I mean, most guys know what their soil is like now,
Yep.
and you need to kind of watch and see if things evolve for you. And that's what I've noticed is the soil is just evolved and is doing things that I didn't think it should be doing. So
any farmer that I've talked to, whether you consider them a bad farmer or a good farmer, I think the bad farmers stay at the bar too much during harvest and the planting season and in the summer when they should be in the bar in the winter. But that's my definition of a good farmer, bad farmer, by the way, as a sales guy. But Nathan, I feel like everybody knows that baseline, like you're talking about. Yeah. Like my dad, he's been farming for a long time, and like he's so boring. We just drive down country roads and we look to see how straight the rows are planted. That's where we're at in our relationship now. So he's going to be putting some Holganix on the spring for the first time. So I'm excited for that for him. But he's in tune. He's in tune with the soil. He's like talking to you, and that's what really makes this enjoyable. That you break it down for us, just simple folk, honestly, Nathan, and what the product does. And that's why I'm really excited about endorsing it, getting behind it, being part of the podcast, and being part of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association, and talking confidently and having people like you come on, Nathan, do this. That's what makes it good. So what was, this is, I hear snake oil every week. If I was a farmer, I'd get it. The gentlemen who work on my pulling tractors, they're farmers, and you'll be in the shop, doing stuff on your tractor, and about every 2 hours, there's times of year, oh, so-and-so's here, and shut the lights off quick. I don't want to think I'm here, and shit like that. So we always giggle and stuff. But, you knew Terry, so you had a relationship. But were there any farmers around you using Holganix, or did Terry just wear you down finally, or how did it all start?
No, I said I only sell the good snake oil.
Okay, that's well said.
Well, I'm pretty sure I want to say that Terry, you called me like the year prior in the spring or fall or something, and I was just like, you really didn't have much to show at that time either, I don't think. Right. And so I just kind of, because I had a million things going on anyway, but he caught me at a little better time in the fall, I think on that time, and, had some pictures and, something to actually see and look at. And, and I, in my prior job, I'd set up a lot of trials with products, and I, kind of knew what to look for anyway, or if you can tell if a product is doing something different, and that's kind of what I was seeing and what he was showing me. And so it just really intrigued me. And then, the soil was something that I would say we overlook a little bit, or I don't know if overlook, or we just, well, I kind of mentioned I had somebody called the soil down here. We're in the infertile crescent before. It's like, well, I've accepted that that's what we have, and so you deal with it and move on. But what can you do to try to change it and make it better? And that's kind of what intrigued me. It's like, maybe there is a way. And, and there's a lot of stuff done anymore with cover crops and everything too. And that does have positive benefits too, but man, it just adds a lot of management, to everything as well, getting cover crops planted, having to kill them in the spring, and there's a cost to that and everything too. So this just looked like another way, and maybe even a way that can be incorporated with cover crops too, and really even speed that process up more. That was kind of where my head was going when Terry circled back around that second time and kind of had a little more data to look at and everything. And I kind of started learning a little more about soil biology more after that too. So
that's one thing too. You think about the amount of diesel fuel and tillage in the winter and the fall, if you don't have to do that. I never thought of dirt. I just always thought of dirt wearing out. I remember grade school, they talked about the Amazon or the rainforest, thrash and burn, 2 acres and burn it and farm it. I never thought dirt would wear out, if you didn't take care of it. And that makes sense. I mean,
well, there's
what you guys are talking about. It's neat, especially if you have infertile crescents. I'm gonna get you a t-shirt.
There's I call it the fence row effect, and I think some guys could probably relate to that too. If you had 2 farms and for years they were separated by a fence row, and then finally you take out that fence row, and then you can see those crops doing better where that old fence row used to be for a long time. I mean, it just shows up, and that's because that soil that was right around that fence row was not hurt, was not harmed. It just performed a little differently. It had some better properties to it. So, I think that's the goal, is to try to get closer back to that with our soil. So.
Terry, write that down. Fence row. We got to come up with the saying. Fence row. Farmers all over the nation now like tomorrow they're tearing out their fence rows to pick up yields. So
give Terry all sorts of isms there, or whatever.
That's right. So. That's right.
Well, us sales guys, Nathan, we got to stick together. So
well, he's right. We haven't turned that soil over. We haven't sprayed it with any chemicals. We haven't damaged it. We haven't done a lot of things to it. And so he's right. The biology has had a chance to build up and be what it's supposed to be in the soil. So yeah.
Terry, Don watches. Don lives up in the Fox River Valley of Wisconsin, that Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, Green Bay area. He watches the podcast every night, he watches a lot of our podcasts, Tractor Pulling and this. It's been fun to see the amount of people that actually watch this. I'm like, wow, I'm glad we're not boring you too bad. I was worried we'd have like 2 people watch it. We got way more than that. So
we got 3 now.
More than just Jessica Wells and Jenny Hoenig, Hoenig. Hoenig. Oh, Hoenig. I'll never forget it again. Nathan, that's what you have to do sometimes. You have to sing like the song. Oh, Hoenig, oh, Hoenig. Terry Hoenig. Got it. Done. It's in my head.
I hope we don't ever stop lending.
I call him something different. I can't get a hold of him on the phone, but
if anybody needs a mortgage, I'm your guy. So
there you go.
Where was I? Man, my ADD is bad tonight, guys. Sorry about this.
This guy had a question.
If we've ever tested on commercial vegetables.
Yes, I'm sorry. I think Don's a strawberry farmer, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so sure.
Have you done much with that?
I wish I had a really good answer for this. I know we're on a lot of crops. We're on cotton, we're on tobacco. I think we're doing some pecan work right now.
You doing any of that marijuana, that legal weed yet? Terry, you got anything growing down there?
I haven't tried any of that I'm aware of. But I know that we do have, in the Bio 800 family out in Philadelphia, we do have some product for vegetables. So I don't know, that would be used in commercial type vegetables or greenhouse vegetables, but healthy soil grows a healthy plant. And so that's what's really cool about the Bio 800 is it's got enough natural occurring species in it, over 800 species, of bacteria, fungi, protozoa, beneficial nematodes. Nature will grow and reproduce and multiply what it needs to balance the soil and won't grow the ones that it doesn't need, because biology is actually fed and triggered by the plant. So it works on, our company was born in the turf industry. So it works on grass. It works on a lot of things, because all you're doing is you're working on the soil. And, just think about strawberries. Good soil, strawberries will grow better in good soil than they will in, hard clay, So, healthy soil grows a healthy plant. So
I'm taking notes tonight, guys.
you are.
One of the
Okay.
other things I
But we
noticed-
do have a product that is a little bit different blend of the microbes for vegetables. I'm just not familiar with it. We don't sell that out of the Midwest office, but we do have some available. If they'd like to message me or something, I'd definitely get them in touch with the guys out there. So
Yeah, Don send me a message on Facebook. I'll get you Gary's number. We'll get that done. So
for sure.
Somebody was sitting from. They must know Sarah and Brian. Sarah and Brian, send me some free samples in North Carolina. We poor farmers down here. And dynamite Tinder. Must be either somebody got into the bottle of wine early, or they're just having fun. I'm not sure, or both. What the hell?
Or both.
It's still
Both
the
are
holiday
allowed.
season. So
That's right.
I agree. Julie is checking in. We had people tell us that we did try it in vegetables and they were sweeter because we raised the bricks count. All right. So what's bricks count, fellers? Tell me what that means in English. Anybody know?
Bricks counts the sugar content.
Okay.
So, makes sweet corn sweeter, vegetables, tomatoes taste better. In pasture grasses and stuff, it'll raise the bricks count, which helps raise the crude protein level. So cattle will lean towards those types of grasses instead of non-treated grasses, unhealthy grasses. But in beans, soybeans, we've seen where the bricks count works in our favor from the aspect of bugs. So bugs and insects don't like a sugary plant. So if you're raising a healthier, higher bricks count type plant, the bugs they tend to lean towards an unhealthier plant if there's that option. So we do see reduced weed pressure and reduced insect pressure in our healthier soils. So
That sounds like a good sales guy, Wells. That's well done. Well done, Terry.
It's the truth. I mean, that's
No, I like it.
That's what's.
No, I mean, you said it with a straight face. I mean, that's legit.
Yeah.
We're testing it. Nate and I got some money on the side. Madison Moorfeld says that he has must be the North Carolina people have plenty of money. Yeah, that's for you, Tyndalls, dynamite Tyndall.
They're all chiming in.
Obviously, they didn't have to. Obviously, Ken did not have to verify his Facebook name like I did. I had to send in my driver's license to make sure I was the real Jason Schultz. So it's all good. This is Brian on Madison's phone. Oh, I know this goes.
They're all down at
Right.
FarmCon this week. So down in Kansas City at the FarmCon convention down there. So
Stay out of the power and light district. It's not what you think it is. Just heads up on it. It's not. It has nothing to do with electricity. Okay, it just gets expensive, and you feel like crap the next day.
a little
Just-
experience talk in there.
Well, I read about it on the Google. Yep.
You did.
Okay.
Okay. The Google? You asked the
Yeah,
Google?
Yeah. Nathan, tell me one story about Terry that he wanted. That's kind of good, but not too bad. I don't want to make him in trouble. Give me a good Terry Hoenig story. So
Man, on the spot.
too late. He says he's already done. That a boy, right?
I haven't drank enough beer with him to probably have a real good one. So
Terry, put that down. You need to drink more beer with Nathan
I would agree. It's time for
on your
cold.
to-do list.
There you go.
See, Nathan, Terry's a podcast pro. He did this with us at the Iowa State Fair on Tuesday night. So it's all good.
Yeah, in the pit area.
Yeah, we sat right out
There you
there
go.
next to the Todd and Julie's trailer, the Holganix trailer, and we had a good time there.
well, guess what? He didn't call me on that one. So
Yeah, Centerville, how close are you to Des Moines?
that's a good hour and a half.
Well, ain't bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So
Terry, we got to get him up there. So,
That's right.
and now they're saying, put that beer down, Brian. You've had too many. Not at 6:45 in Kansas City.
That's right.
You probably didn't start till noon. What is this FarmCon thing that they're at? Like a big bunch of farmers get together and hug and stuff, or what, Terry?
Yeah, big convention where they come in. Farmers go there they'll usually have some keynote speakers, learn about different topics. It's a big gathering of folks. I don't know. There's 600-700 people that go there. We set
Where do
up
they
a
have
booth.
it at?
You'd have to ask me that. Kansas City.
Yep. Okay. That's just a small suburb.
hour and life.
Did they fix 35 yet between Des Moines and Kansas City? Because that is a bumpy road in the semi on the way to Tractor Post. I'm just telling you that. Did they fix that at all, or is it still bad? Anybody,
I couldn't tell
I
you.
drove it.
somebody let me know if they fix the potholes yet in Missouri. They're bad.
They got plenty to fix in Iowa too. So
I know, but I just get that's
Missouri
what I'm
can't build a straight road. They just follow the wagon trails. So
This is true. Look at here we go.
there's the combine operator right there.
I love it.
There you are.
I love it. What's his name?
Lowry.
Yep, Lowry.
Like the salt?
Yes,
the salt,
that is
exactly.
exactly right.
I like how
we're
you
gonna
said,
get-
what's his
Nathan,
name?
We're
And
gonna get him some beer money. We're gonna get him some beer money gear.
All right, that works.
I got your email, so I'll ask for your address.
He's happy now. He screamed all the way home. So
Jessica, tell us a good Nathan story, please. So,
You got to hear the other. How do I do on that? So
you left out what you like to tell everybody, so that was nice. I
did.
don't know. He's probably got more stories on me than anything. I've always made a fool of myself more than he has.
That's true.
So
So
that's good. At least you're
I
good
want
at
to
it.
know how the butter turned out.
it was delicious.
it is good.
Did you do salted or unsalted?
Unsalted because I use that. I need unsalted when I bake.
Okay. What butterfat did you try to get to?
I don't know. I just whipped heavy cream down until it separated.
So in my previous life, I ran my in-laws creamery from 2007 to 2016, and then we sold it to Land O'Lakes. And then my father-in-law doesn't need to worry about money anymore, so I had to go get a real job. But I made a lot of butter. If you guys ever,
That's why you're into pulling tractors, huh?
that's right. That's right. My father-in-law, though, he never wanted to sponsor a pulling tractor. He just said he goes, I don't want nothing to do with that silly thing. But if you guys ever see the hand-rolled butter in the store in the parchment paper, I started that.
Really?
Yeah, because in my world, I'm in sales. I want a little sizzle with the steak, right? So I go call on customers, big, people buying 55-pound blocks or quarter sticks or 1-pounders. And be like, what's your price? It was just what's your price? Because we either got salted or we got unsalted. And I'm like, this sucks. Because in Wisconsin, a cheese guy there's a guy, Sid Valley over at Car Valley Cheese, like 20 miles from here. We bought his cream. They could come up with some crazy name and get $15 a pound, right? And I was just like, what do you got, salted or unsalted? So we did some research, and we're in Amish country, and we did an Amish country hand-rolled butter. I took it to trade shows up and down the West Coast, and people would come up, I'd have crackers out, and they'd eat it thinking it was cheese. And it was so, because just because what the Holganix product does, it breaks it down. The more the butter fat, the more the less you beat it up and run it through pipes and stuff like that, it's going to have more butter fat. It's going to taste. I always said it was a butter with taste, right? And so we took it right from the churn and we hand rolled it on tables. Now the company's selling 1 million pounds a month of it. It's so funny. And my father-in-law said, "You're so crazy. That's never going to happen." So when you hand make butter, like hand roll butter like that, or hand do it, that's the best. Because it truly is. It's unadulterated.
Well, I got to get all the buttermilk out of it because I want to freeze it. And if you leave buttermilk in, it's not going to freeze up very good. It'll fall funky.
We sold our buttermilk to like the ice cream people, like Wells. And then there was some, like if we had some whey cream, like a whey cream run, we would sell it to like a local, like a cow feeder or a pig feeder or something like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The good A stuff went out to like Wells and different things like that. But we bought cream in, the butter fat, we'd come in, I would say 40%, 30 to 35 to 40% butter fat in a silo. Then we churn it up to 80 to 82. Depends upon like a European style butter is like an 82, 83%. But everything you see in the store by law has to be 80% butter fat.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I got me some
That's
fresh
something
milk
I actually know what I'm talking about. So
Well, I got me some fresh milk today, so I'm going to try that. That's going to be better butter than the store-bought heavy whipping cream. So
let's see what he got. I got it.
I'll leave it. You want to see the baby?
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
This is William Lumberg. He's from Bowling Green, Ohio. He likes to party, so he always comes in with his beer emojis. So, Nathan, what is your adult beverage of choice? As a friend of yours, I want to know this now. So,
I'm usually a whiskey and Coke type of guy. So,
ooh, you're my boy, Blue. What kind of whiskey are we talking here?
oh, Crown. I do like the Cedar Ridge whiskey though too. That's made there in Swisher, Iowa.
Yep.
So I do like that Cedar Ridge bourbon. So
No, I've been switching it up too as well. My dad's cheap, and he makes me drink Black Velvet when I'm down there. So
If it's beer, it's usually Bush Light. That's just kind of that's the Southern Iowa staple right there.
Yeah,
So.
you are a tractor puller's friend. I like you already. Terry, you taking notes? Terry Hoenig?
I'm taking notes. Taking notes for sure.
So, do you have a shop we can sit in and play like hard rock music from the 80s and 90s?
I do not yet. That's on my list of things to do. So.
Okay. Well, we're gonna come pick you up, Nathan.
Okay.
We'll just get some mix of whiskey and Coke and just look and see how straight your rows are. That's okay with me.
Yep.
After how many whiskeys?
It all depends. I did buy a Tesla, guys, and it drives itself. I did not buy one because I voted for Joe Biden because I did not vote for Joe Biden. I don't believe in electric cars. I bought one because I go like this, click, click, and it drives me to my destination. I look at my phone a lot. I look at my phone a lot in my car. I feel safer with my Tesla, but I catch a lot of crap because there's not a lot of Teslas up here in southern Wisconsin. So, but I have a diesel tractor that burns about 6 gallons of diesel fuel in about 13 seconds. So that's my carbon footprint there, right?
There you go.
I want to throw that out there. No, I get a lot of stares.
I bet you do.
Oh man. I had a kid yesterday. I was up in Broqua on my way to the office up in Westby, and he pulled up next to me and kind of joking. I said, "You want to race?" He goes, "Yeah." I smoked him. I went up to the drag strip this fall when I got it. One of my friends has a Dodge Challenger. You guys are so heavy. All the batteries are on the bottom, and they just launch. I ran 11-second quarter mile an electric car, just stock. So they boogie.
Do they have a charging station at the end of that strip?
They do. They don't. I can get 300 in the summer. I can get
charge it up to get back.
Miles. I get 330 miles in the summer on a charge. In the winter, I get about 270 on a charge. So I got a dual motor one. But you got to be careful. Like when you get like in the Centerville, Iowa area, like you have to put in where you're going on your way back. Because if you don't put it on your way back, I went to an outlaw meeting in Okoboji thinking, Okoboji, there's got to be a charging. No.
I think there actually is. We're up there. I think there actually is some charging stations in Centerville. So
are they Tesla ones or are they just the slow ones?
I couldn't tell you that. Obviously, I've never used them, so
right.
I value diesel and burning it down the road, I guess. So, but
no, the Tesla chargers, the superchargers, guys, 15-20 minutes, and you're rolling again. But like I ended up somewhere over by Okoboji. I went to like an Iowa county co-op thing, and I sat for 2 hours and only got 20 miles, but I got enough to get back to Worthington, Minnesota, so I could supercharge and get going. So that was like my first or second week of owning it. So to all you future Tesla owners out there, go when you put your route in, put 2 and back because it'll send you into a place. And that's just some good knowledge there. Because I know everybody watching this podcast has a Tesla. Probably not. North Carolina's checking in. I got plenty of Miller Lite and bourbon if Brian ever wants to come back to North Carolina bear hunting. Okay. See if he's still watching in the bar. Your beautiful wife says, hey, they have a charging station on the square in Centerville.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I just couldn't remember if they were Tesla ones or not. So
yeah,
it's right next to the payphone booth.
Oh, shoot. There is one in Rockwell, Iowa, too. I saw one after the tractor pull this summer. Linda Hoenig says, Harry says, get more crop in a crooked road. The baby is a cutie. Terry needs to hold him and get in practice. So that must be your mom.
Well, that's my mother. My dad always did say you could get more crop in a crooked row.
I've heard that.
That's right or not.
I've always wondered about tractor pulling too. If you go in a straight line or if you get more farther distance, but at the end of the day, it's how far you got down the track. So I think you're better off going straight. So, Terry, what do we want to say to the people for watching that? First of all, we want to say thank you because I think this has been a fun podcast. Nathan, you beat the numbers from last week. I forget who we had on last week already, but if you want to pick on those guys, I think Terry can hold this over their head now.
Exactly. I heard about it. Yeah. So.
I think every episode's been great. I really appreciate Nathan coming on here. Thanks for everything, Jason. And just want to thank everybody for watching. And I don't know. Holganix is bringing good things to the farmers. That's what I really enjoy. Just being able to, have a win-win for everybody. It's a way to improve your soil while you're profitable along the way, which is not traditionally how we look at things. Typically, you have to do cover crops, do some no-till practices, things like that cost a grower money in effort to try to make their soil better. So that's what I really, really like about the Holganix product itself is just it's profitable for the farmer, so it's good for everybody. But give us a try and look us up if you're interested in talking to us. That's all I got.
I love, I'm looking at my notes. Healthy soil grows a healthy plant. And really that's ultimately because, a lot of different questions, a lot of different applications, if you will, that you can, work with. But at the end of the day, if the dirt's good, you should be able to grow something out of it. So
Right.
I was just joking about the marijuana thing a little bit, but I'm guessing someday we might be doing that too. Can you imagine doing a podcast and putting down two plants? Oh, I sometimes, Terry, you got to put a filter on me. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
Nathan, did you learn anything tonight? Seriously, is this? I love having you on because I think this gives the show credibility. Otherwise, it's just Terry and his snake oil. His good snake oil, but it's still snake oil. But if I'm a farmer and I've never heard of Holganix or a lot more people are starting to hear about it, obviously because of the success stories, because of the awesome social media team there at Holganix Midwest, aka Jenny, that'd be Terry's wife. That was for you, Terry. I hope that works out for you later. A good compliment. But your mom's watching. Sorry, Linda. I didn't mean to say that. But no, seriously, Nathan, was anything that you kind of took for this night, or did it make you think of something? Or
I thought I was teaching Terry more than he was teaching me, but
no, that's without a doubt.
I would agree. That's why I had him on.
I just definitely, I think guys should have an open mind and, give it a try. And like I said, it's one of those things you definitely need to watch it throughout the year. Know where you put it and keep an eye on it and, make a believer out of yourself. And, most guys know how their soils perform today. They know what to expect. But if you start seeing some changes, in a positive direction, like I said, that's what's really impressed me about it. And there was some things that, those guys told me. I'm like, well, how does that work? I'll believe it when I see it. Well, there's a lot of the things that have happened. I've seen it and now I believe it. There was one thing I was going to say about, I was digging some corn plants out of the ground early in the season. And that's something I do. I'm probably weird in that respect. I go out and look at crops in detail and dig roots out of the ground and see how things are going below ground. But spade was shoving in the ground way easier than what it should be in our soils. That's something they had kind of said in, a lot of the presentations, but it's like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, I saw it, and not just once. It was all through the season. So it's worth a try. Have an open mind and yeah.
I love it. Nathan, congratulations on the new baby and
Thank you.
And your combine operator. That's pretty awesome. Terry, thanks for coming on tonight. Thank you, everybody. We've enjoyed episode 4 of Be Loyal to Your Soil with Terry Hoenig and Nathan Wells. Have a good night, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Good night.
Thank you. Hey, gang, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Drop it.